Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kickabout, and hopefully the first attempt at doing this properly on YouTube. We tried this before. We tried this a couple of weeks ago, and whilst the mics sounded fantastic, unfortunately the webcams did not work particularly well and got all very laggy and horrible. So hopefully the new settings I've made, with all the testing I've done, should be fine. You have to wait and see, but hopefully this will be fine. But at the very least, this will go out as an audio podcast, so someone will get something out of this. As we bring that back as well. So, just me and you again.
Just me and you.
Just like old times.
Yeah.
As per usual, Man United won a game and Dan's not here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Two losses in the next week.
Yeah, well, they're playing us on Thursday, so I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, maybe not.
And Newcastle won as well, which means Shearer, I'm surprised he's not here, actually. Usually he makes arrangements.
He phone in sick at work. And
make arrangements to be here. So, yes, we've got plenty to talk about tonight in our sort of returning to our sort of slightly older format here. We are going to start with Chelsea against Arsenal. What a game that was. Do you know what? It sort of felt to me like there was a real palpable, like almost like sense of what was at stake in this game. Yeah. It felt like the top two teams going at it. It felt like almost like not a title decided, but you know what I mean? It had that aura about it that this was a fucking important game.
Yeah. And there was a nice bit of needle in it as well. I think the ref didn't help by booking players too early. Yeah. But there was that bit of edge to the game which really helped, I think.
Yeah. I think the I don't know if it was the occasion that kind of got to players a little bit. Obviously the fans were bang up for it. The atmosphere was really good. But I think the Chelsea players just took the game to Arsenal in a way that Arsenal are not really used to. They're not really used to players really going toe to toe from them physically. And I don't know who that really kind of favoured in this scenario, because obviously Chelsea did get the red card, but Arsenal had an awful lot of yellows, which maybe meant one or two of their players had to just back off a little bit. But overall, a really good game of football to watch as a neutral. What did you think?
Yeah, no, it was good. We sort of carried on where we left off with Barcelona last week. We were brilliant against them, and we sort of had that same intensity that we haven't always seen with us this season. And yeah, it made for a very good game.
I think the Barcelona game last week, or midweek last week, was one of the best performances I've seen from Chelsea, certainly under Maresca.
Don't get me wrong, Barcelona were poor, but we were very good. I think we made them look very average.
Yeah, I think that game could have easily been 4 or 5, if not more.
Well, we had, 3 goals disallowed?
I think it was 4, wasn't it,
in the end? 4 in the end, yeah.
I think all rightfully so. I don't think there was any contention.
No, not at all.
And obviously, I think, I don't know, who was it that missed a sitter for Barcelona?
Oh, it was was it Pedri?
Was it Pedri? Not sure. I can't
remember now.
Somebody missed a sitter.
Yeah, in about the 6th minute.
Yeah, that may well have changed the game from there. But from that point on, it was just all Chelsea, and obviously Esteval scoring that worldie as well, showing his credentials. Obviously, before the game, the big news was that obviously Gabriel we already knew was out, but Saliba not making the squad either. Apparently picked up a small knock in training. I don't know how serious it is, whether it's going to keep him out this week or not. But I guess if you're a Chelsea player, when you saw both Gabriel and Saliba not playing, probably gives you a lift. Do you feel like you took advantage of that, do you think?
No, I think there's a little bit of a opportunity missed with that red card. Like, I think if we had 11 players on the pitch, we beat them.
Yeah.
Especially with them two missing.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the red card chat, I suppose, because there has been, I think, pretty unfairly, a lot of comparisons being drawn, a lot of conclusions, being drawn about Caicedo and Rice, because there's been a lot of comparisons being drawn about them and who's the best, who's got this, that, and the other. A lot of people are saying that Caicedo's let that get to him. I'm not sure I buy that.
No, it was just, do you know what? It wasn't even. The speed in which the game is played in the Premier League is unreal. And it wasn't even that badly mistimed. It was like a split second out.
Yeah.
He's obviously pumped up for the game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's got anything to do with trying to prove you're better than Rice.
No, I think it was just being a bit pumped up for the game, as you say. I think they did an analysis on Match of the Day where they showed that actually Caicedo didn't actually need to come in and get involved in the first place, because I think Chalobah was coming out with, was it Marino who got hit, wasn't it? Yeah. So there was a case for saying that maybe Caicedo doesn't need to get involved. Do you think it was a red?
Do you know what? I didn't on the day. Now I've calmed down and I've seen it more. Probably is.
Yeah.
Sorry. The thing that annoys me is if it was given as a red on field, I'd have accepted it more.
Yeah.
The fact that he let play go on and then give him a yellow and then VAR come along and slow it down. The freeze frames and that always looks so much worse. I've said it for years now.
Yeah,
I hate it when they stop it and freeze it on impact and that.
Yeah,
because that looks terrible. It's not, the game's not played at that speed. You know,
No.
the studs weren't necessarily up. It was a little bit high. It was above the ankle. Yeah, fine. It probably was a red, but
yeah. I'm kind of with you. On first viewing, I actually thought that it was one of those like orange cards.
Yeah.
It was kind of in the middle between the two because you could see it was a little bit high. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't like shin high. It was obviously on the ankle.
yeah,
He has gone in at a hell of a speed as well, which doesn't help his cause. But then on review, when you look at it back and you look at one or two of the other angles, you think, yeah, maybe that is a red. But I still think that maybe. Do you think that if it had been VAR'd and they said no, it's still a yellow? Do you think there'd be an outcry of?
I think whichever way.
Controversy?
They were sort of like damned if they did and damned if they didn't with this. Like, it's one of them. If you're an Arsenal fan, yeah, it's 100% red. If you're a Chelsea fan, possibly not a red. But
I mean, there was one later on, wasn't there? I think it was Hincapi. I think caught
with the
Chalobah
elbow,
with the elbow.
I don't think that's a red.
No, likewise.
You've got to use your arms to jump and that. He's caught him. I don't think there was any malice. The same with the Caicedo one. I don't think there was any malice or intent in it.
No.
It was just slightly mistimed.
Yeah, I think with the Hincapi one, I think if he goes up with his elbow like that, with his elbow really pointed, I think maybe you can make a difference. But his arm was quite bent
out,
and it's quite straight. Sorry,
you can't jump without using your arms.
No, exactly. It's just one of those things. Obviously, it looks bad because Chalobah's copped a cut and a bruise on his face and his cheekbone, so it looks worse than maybe the decision is. But yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Just staying with Caicedo for a moment. A stat flashed up on Sky Sports when I was looking at some of the reviews of the game. There's a tackle to foul ratio. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
So
another stat they brought
it's another stat that they bring up just to for convenience when they're trying to make a point about something, as they always do. But I just wanted to get your take on it. So there's a list here of Premier League midfielders or players, the number of tackles they've made versus the number of fouls they've made, and it sort of like gives you like a tackles to foul ratio. Bruno Guimaraes is the worst in the league. 1.6 tackles to fouls, and then there are three players, Moises Caicedo, João Gomez and Alexis McAllister, all on 1.7. Now the point they were trying to illustrate is, does Caicedo give away too many fouls, get booked too often? Should he change his approach a little bit? Do you think that this stat holds any weight whatsoever, and should Caicedo maybe make adjustments in his game?
No, not at all. It's sort of nature of the job he's doing. He's a defensive midfielder, so he's going to be putting lots of tackles in, and it's nature of the beast. They're going to be fouling people. It's part of the game now as well.
I think actually with a CDM, I think breaking up the play, regardless of how you do it, is kind of, as you say, it's part of the job.
Yeah.
There are so many times where you think if he goes past you, he's running at your back four. Sometimes a CDM has to take a booking.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think actually if he didn't, if his tackles to fouls ratio was on the other end of the scale. I mean, you look at players down here, you've got João Paulinho, 3 tackles to fouls. Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, it's fine. It's great that he's doing that. But could you make a case for saying that maybe he's not putting himself about
exactly,
enough?
Yeah.
You could very easily look at the other end of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't believe that to be a problem at all. The overall conversation then at the end of this game, we'll talk about Arsenal in a moment. Do you feel like, when we talked about this in the past about Chelsea's title credentials or credentials in general, you've always been quite coy about it. You've always sort of said, no, look, we might get fairly close, but we're not in any way, shape or form in the conversation. As these last couple of performances, the Barcelona one, this one, has it changed your mind at all? Do you think maybe you can run them close?
No, I think we will run them closer than what we have been.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a few more games first before I start saying that consistency is starting to come along.
Yeah.
Because you see it like against Sunderland. That wasn't that long ago now. Lost to them. So although the last 2 games we've played very well, I want to see it for 4, 5, 6 games, that sort of performance, before I start saying, right, we're actually title contenders.
Who are your next games against?
We've got Leeds away, and then, was it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth, yeah. Leeds away, Bournemouth away. Then you've got Atalanta in the Champions League away. Then you're home to Everton, Cardiff in the Cup, and then you've got Newcastle and Villa. So you got a couple of, Bournemouth's form is all over the place at the moment. Leeds really should be going there and winning, to be honest.
From his Leeds, it's always a little bit of something between Chelsea leads, and they seem to always perform against us.
I don't know, have I asked you this before? Where does this needle come from?
This
It's
comes
not
back-
it's not geographical.
No, it's from like 1970s, like the FA Cup.
Right.
Have you seen that match between? I think it was 1970.
What, where they're
FA
just
Cup,
chopping the shit out of each other?
where they were literally, I think if it was today, they worked out it would have been about 8 red cards. They were just kicking the shit out of each other, basically. And it went to a replay as well. Both, I think the replay was the worst game.
Wow.
And it sort of
Last
goes back
man
to
standing.
that. Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know. I mean, obviously, most of the rivalries either come from geographical location or
Mm.
because you've been scrapping for league
Yeah.
titles and whatnot. So I just didn't know what the history there was. So yeah, winnable games there for Chelsea. I think. Personally, look from the outside looking in, I think at the moment, I mean, Arsenal fans will say that they weren't at their full strength because they didn't have their defence out. They had 1 or 2 players come back from injury, Gyökeres and Odegaard coming back from injury. Jesus was back on the bench. They have been a bit of a juggernaut this year, but I think that if there's anybody in the league that's going to push them close, the only one I see at the moment is Chelsea. They're the only one showing the signs and the credentials to do it.
Yeah, we're starting to show a little bit more maturity now. We've got Palmer come back. He was back on the bench at the weekend. You've got Fofana, who's back in there, who's playing well. Reece James has had a whole year now without any injuries.
Do you know what? He has been I know it's such a cliche to say it, but he has been like a new signing for you.
He was like Caicedo at the weekend when Caicedo got sent off. He was here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
He was like having an extra player on the pitch. It was like having 11 still with him on the pitch. He was everywhere. He was brilliant.
I wonder if he's like, I've not been in this situation myself, but I imagine that when you're in and out of the team constantly, when you can't get a run of games together because you're always injured, I wonder if now that he's getting a run of games, he's got so much more confidence in his body now, that his body's coming along for the ride. He's obviously doing something different behind the scenes. Maybe he's changed nutrition or something like that.
He's slimmed down a little bit.
He
got really bulky at one point. Not necessarily fat, but like he looked like he'd packed on some muscle, and it looks like he's slimmed down a little bit. So maybe he's not working so hard in the gym now.
Yeah. But he's incredibly versatile. I think with the World Cup next year, I think a fully fit and fine Reece James is a massive plus for England.
He's a brilliant right back, but you see him at the weekend playing that central midfield role, and he was arguably the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, from a Chelsea point of view, from Maresca has not been known for making the best decisions, when you've gone down to 10 men. But I think actually moving Reece James in the middle,
from it.
Moving Reece James in the middle was a masterstroke at the weekend.
Wasn't sure about the decision at halftime to take Esteval off and bring Garnacho on.
Yep.
Because he's obviously done that. I don't know whether for a bit of experience or what. Or I think maybe because Neto wasn't in the game, he's wanted to get him back over onto the right-hand side because he is better off the right. But bringing Garnacho on, he offers nothing defensively normally. And it's sort of like if you're doing that to sort of get Neto in the game and get a bit more stability, Garnacho's not the one. But he done all right and seemed to work out. We was the better team in the second half.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it's a shame that the red card happened because the game was bubbling away nicely. I think you two going toe-to-toe 11v11 would have been a really, really cool game to watch. Arsenal gave as good as they got. They tried to do things. I do think Chelsea were the better side.
I will special mention to Robert Sanchez. I thought he had a fucking brilliant game.
Yeah, some of those saves
he pulled off.
Were brilliant.
And not even the saves, but getting us on the front foot quick. That's what he's been doing in recent times. He's been getting that ball, he's been commanding his area, and then getting us on the attack straight away. We're so quick now going forwards. He gets that ball in his hands and he gets us going straight away before anyone's even had a chance to get back in.
There was a pass he did, I think it was in the second half, where he comes out and claims it. And he runs
the one we bowled out to Neto.
It was like a chest pass.
Yeah, out to Neto.
It was such an unorthodox way of doing it, but it's perfect. It was perfectly into his stride and away you went. And all of a sudden, I think Neto
he made the wrong decision.
Yeah, should have passed
shot
at the end of it.
Yeah.
It was, as you say, perfect example. And all of a sudden, what was a completely problematic position for you at the start of the season has now become one. Actually, maybe it's not an area of focus for the time being.
The only real bad game he's had this season was the Man United one where he got sent off after about 30 seconds. That was the only bad game I can really remember him having. He obviously makes the odd mistake. Some of his distribution at times with his feet is questionable.
Yeah,
but on the whole, he's been pretty solid this season.
Agreed. I think with the case with Arsenal, I think from a league perspective, I think actually you getting at least a point, shame you didn't get 3, from a league perspective was good. Yeah. Because what we don't want as a neutral is one team, it doesn't matter who it is, disappearing off. So the fact that you've just put the brakes on them a little bit and given them something to think about maybe is a good thing for the league.
We played a third of our league games this season with 10 men as well. We've had 4 red cards in the league.
I mean, what does Muska need to do to solve that? Because you can't keep doing that.
No. The problem is you want that fire and that sort of determination and getting them pumped, but you've got to have sort of a level to it. Like, you've got to be able to control it at times.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're bottom of the fair play thing for yellows and reds.
That doesn't surprise me much.
So
it's not been a
that
good.
I care about that really, about the fair play, but I'd like to keep 11 players on the pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more about that, isn't it? I mean, I don't even think you used to get a UEFA Cup place, didn't you, for fair play?
Yeah, I think so.
Years ago. Obviously, I think that's long gone now. But right, okay, let's move on then. Let's talk about West Ham against Liverpool. Now, of course, we'll don't worry. We'll get on.
Let's get on to this.
We'll get on to Paqueta and all the other stuff. But I do want to mention the very sad passing of West Ham legend Billy Bonds before we start. He's kind of like the epitome of a club legend. He's played 799 times for West Ham, which is an unfathomable amount of games. He was bought for £45,000. Like, that's actually mad to think about. Back in the 60s, I think it was.
That's quite a lot of money.
Somebody would, that was still happening back then. Led us to FA Cup titles in 75 and 80, 21 years as a player between 67 and 88. Managed between 1990 and 1994. Was given the club's first ever Lifetime Achievement Award in 2013. 5 years later, voted our greatest ever player. And then had in 2019, once we moved to the new stadium, it was a year or two after, I think, or a couple of years after, he had a stand named after him in the same way that Bobby Moore and Trevor Brooking did at our old ground. And a full recognition will be done at the next home game. So obviously it happened on the morning, so they obviously didn't have a chance to do anything particularly special. So I'm sure they will want to honour him and commemorate his memory properly at the next home game, which I think is in... It's not this weekend coming, it's the weekend after. So we've got 2 away games in a row now. Really, really sad, amazing player. Those sorts of players are like just gold dust now, aren't they? Into like modern day. You're never going to get a player that does that not to that degree. Football was a different beast back in those days. And unfortunately, West Ham were not able to lift themselves to commemorate the occasion. Now, before we get onto the very obvious conversation about the Paqueta red card and everything else, I want to get your take on how you feel Nuno has done in his first. I think he's had like 6 or 7 games now. What's your takeaway as a neutral from the outside in?
Below average, I think. The only thing I will say is the squad's not that good. You've got a couple of players in there. Paqueta's not helping the fact, but he should be one of your main players.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit more from him.
Yeah.
Expecting him to get more out of the team, basically. You've shown glimpses of it. Obviously winning... Last week you won?
Not last week. We threw away 2-0 lead against Bournemouth. It was the 2 games previous to that we won because we beat Burnley and Newcastle.
Yes, the Newcastle game I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
You actually showed a bit of grit and determination in that game and a bit of something about you. And then you see this game at the weekend and literally done nothing. I
think my biggest gripe with Nuno, and it isn't just him, because this feels like it's become so synonymous with West Ham now, this sort of style of play, this inevitability that you know what's going to come. As soon as Liverpool lost 3-0 last week to Nottingham Forest, as soon as they got shit on this midweek by PSV, I mean, I was joking about it with anybody who I was talking to about the fact that I said, Dr. West Ham will come along and they'll prescribe 3 points for you. Don't worry about that. I even joked and said in the change room on Saturday with the football guys, I said to them, don't be surprised if Isak bags a hat-trick or something like that, because this game is perfectly set up for him in the way that I know he's going to approach the game. And there's this inferiority complex that for some reason has embedded itself within West Ham. It was the same under Moyes, it was the same under Potter, it was the same under Lopetegui, and now it's the same under Nuno, in that every other person with a pair of eyes and a brain can see that Liverpool are incredibly vulnerable. They
weren't good.
They weren't even good at the weekend.
They didn't need to be, though.
No, they were. I thought they were dreadful.
Yeah.
They were so wasteful in front of goal.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do anything over the top to play. I mean, everyone was waxing lyrical about Wirtz. I'm like, are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
He had the freedom of the pitch to do what he wanted.
He had so much time on
Any
the ball.
player in the Premier League could be good if given those sorts of time on the ball. So I didn't buy that into that. Isak, his goal, look, he took the goal well, but again, he had about 5 or 10 yards of space inside the box to do it.
He had so many chances before that as well that he wasted.
Yeah.
That one that you could have put 4 goals on top of each other and it still wouldn't have gone in.
And it's so frustrating that everybody can tell. I don't have a particular problem. Look, Liverpool got good players. If they click, you're in trouble. I get it. Mm-hmm. But why was the game plan to just sit back and do nothing?
Especially when they're as vulnerable as they are at the back.
Yeah.
You've seen how poor they've been. Midweek against, was it Leverkusen they played? PSV, sorry, yeah. Van Dijk was just letting people run past him for fun. They were terrible.
It was absolutely embarrassing. But the difference was PSV at times were sitting back and having to soak up pressure. Mm-hmm. Difference was that when they got forward and they had the opportunity, they pressed and they got forward and they got results. And it's exactly what Nottingham Forest did under Sean Dyche, of all fucking people. Mm-hmm. He's basically an English version of Nuno. Yeah. And yet he showed you the way, and we still didn't do the same thing. We left Callum Wilson completely isolated up front. He's in decent nick himself. He scored a couple of good goals recently. And I think the only chance of note that I remember having was when we did go down to 10 men. I think Bowen should have hit the target minimum.
Yeah, he should have done better. You expect better from him.
Yeah, 100%. And, we might have stolen a point at that point. That would have been a complete steal if we had it done. Yeah. And I like Nuno. I do like him as a manager. I like him as a guy. He's very honest. I was a bit frustrated with his interview afterwards when he was talking about spirit and the energy and the determination was there. And it's like, yeah, but that's a bare fucking minimum that you should expect from a Premier League team, that they run around. And I just thought that Liverpool were just ripe for the pillaging. They were there, ready to go, if we would dare to be brave enough to do it, and we just weren't. No. We just sat back. We invited them on, and if it wasn't for some very poor finishing from Liverpool and some decent goalkeeping from Areola again, we could have lost by more. And it's an unnecessary boost of confidence for Liverpool, because they've just come here and done a training session, basically. Van Dijk and Konate, we didn't lay a glove on them.
They hardly broke into a sweat, did they?
They didn't need to. I don't think we had a shot on target in the entire game.
Oh, really?
Which is criminal. At home against anybody. I don't care who you're fucking playing. So, yeah, very hit and miss from Nuno at the moment. Some of his decisions, his tactical decisions, substitutions, team lineups are very questionable. Can I put it down to he's learning on the job? A little. But I think we're at the point now where he needs to come to ground and start implementing what he wants and stop chopping and changing.
By now, he's a good enough manager. You see what he did last season with Forest. By now, he should know who should be playing, who shouldn't be playing. Yeah. He's been in there long enough now.
I'm just annoyed at the fact that we are here in another season and we are effectively waiting for the end of the season.
Yeah, waiting for next season.
We're waiting for next season. Yeah. We're hoping and praying that Nuno can do something like he did with Forest in his second season there. January can't come soon enough. I think Fulkrug is going to be on his way out. We need to get another striker in.
Yeah. The problem is now you look at the table, and although you're out of the bottom 3, there's sort of 4 or 5 of you down the bottom that's starting to drift away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah. And the rest of the pack are so tightly condensed that if you fall off the back of that, it's so hard to catch up again, because they're all taking points off each other. So it's very difficult to actually gain back on them. So yeah, that's Nuno. Let's get on and talk about the giant fucking elephant in the room. Lucas Paqueta. Did he have 50 quid on himself to be sent off?
Definitely. 100%.
What a fucking helmet that bloke is.
What a weapon.
I don't know where to begin with this, I'll be brutally honest, because this is such a dereliction of duty to the club, to the fans. The club and the fans have stood behind this twat for 2 years while he's been supposedly falsely accused. Now, we don't know if it was just a case of that he was completely exonerated of all charges or whether the FA just basically couldn't prove it. They didn't have enough evidence. So we don't know if he's guilty or not, really. If he wasn't guilty, and he's adamant of that, why is he not suing them for all their fucking worth for the 2 years of turmoil?
What'd you make of his statement?
Well, yeah, I was going to come on. So in his statement afterwards, he's basically blaming everybody but himself. In his first statement, because he did 2. In his first statement, he did the second one where he obviously realised he didn't read the room, and he sort of apologised for not being perfect and apologised to the fans and the club and all that kind of stuff. In the second one. But it still had an aura of it's not my fault.
Yeah.
And I think that blaming the FA for what they've done to him for 2 years, like, okay, I get it. You've probably been through the mire. You've had your name tarnished. You've had to go backwards and forwards to court. You've had to give up your phone. Your personal life is probably being gone through with a fine-tooth comb. I get it. It must have been horrendous. But you're over that now. The fans, the club who have paid your wages for all this time have stood by you. We've had to endure 2 years of, frankly, really below par performances from him whilst he had this hanging over his head. But we all understood it. We all got it. That's gone now. He has to leave that at the door when he comes onto a football pitch. And to me, that outburst, I don't see how he can blame the FA for it. I don't see what it is that he's... Like, the FA was saying that he was fixing matches. What he's just done is just sort of put more fuel on the fire.
Yeah, because that blatantly looked like a match. Why would you go and just keep going at him to get a second yellow?
Yeah,
like,
it's
absolutely brain dead.
And when I watched it back, I watched it a couple of times, and I watched the referee's reaction to it, and he sort of indicated that it was a totting up. He sort of pointed, he's sort of like over there. So I don't know if that was all mouth or whether he's sort of like, you've done a couple of fouls here, now this. The reaction was petty and petulant from Paqueta. I think the referee probably could have let the first one go because he sort of throws his hands up and then he turns his back. And I think at that point, Lucas is kind of ready to get on with the match. The referee decides, no, I've had enough. I'm going to give him a yellow. And then, of course, it just goes to ridiculous
He gave him
levels.
so many chances to stop as well.
And Lucas was right in his face. Yeah. Right in his face. I mean, he could have sent him off a lot earlier than he did, as you say. But the other elephant in the room here is Jarrod Bowen.
Yeah, did not look bothered at all.
I was I'm very disappointed in his reaction. There's been a lot of chat amongst the West Ham fan base already this season that is he captain material? He's a great player. He's a legend of the club. He's going to be our top scorer in the Premier League era. He's a fantastic ambassador for the club. Is he a captain?
Problem is, do you have any captains in that team? Any real leaders?
You would do worse than give it to if he was younger. Fabianski would probably be my first pick. Goalkeeper captains are not the norm these days.
Doesn't play anymore, though, does he?
No, that's what I mean. If he was younger, then yes, you'd do that. Outside of that, there's the only other ones I could think of that might take it with their experience and passion don't play, and that's Souček and Füllkrug. They're the two that have really shown passion for the badge. But their ability on the pitch is questionable, therefore they don't play, as well as their injuries if you're Füllkrug. So, yeah, I don't really know what the alternative is. I mean, Max Kilman was captain at Wolves under Nuno. Could he give him to him? But then he was dropped at the weekend.
Terrible.
And he's fucking terrible as well. So maybe Bowen is just the best of a very bad bunch. Yeah. But what was really frustrating for me, on a day that Billy Bonds, who was a West Ham legend as a captain as well, he would have lumped Paqueta for doing what he did at the weekend. And I was really disappointed that Bowen didn't do more to try and get Paqueta out of that scenario.
You just grab him by the collar and say, look, fuck off over there.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
Just didn't do any of that. Like the Liverpool players are trying harder to get him away than what he was.
Genuinely, Alisson made more of an attempt to stop that from happening than Jarrod Bowen did, which was really, really disappointing. And he's just come back from 5 yellows.
Yeah, it was his first game back.
First game back. He's now going to miss the Man United game on Thursday for that.
Will that be more than 1 game ban? Because he's already been banned for...
That is a very good point. It could be a 2-game suspension. That is a very good point. I'm not sure. I have to check that. So he's definitely going to miss the Man United game. He might then miss the Brighton game at the weekend then. Yeah, it just kind of summed us up, really.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
It was just the cherry on top of the cake, really, wasn't it, the weekend? So
yeah, I just don't know. I don't know with West Ham. We've just become such a chore to support and to watch. There's so much wrong at the club. Obviously, I've been down this road so many times on various other videos and podcasts. I'm not going to go down that road again, but...
think of the views and the subs.
Yeah, I mean, if we get battered by United on Thursday, maybe I'll dust off the other podcast thingy over there. Yeah, I just don't know what's going to fix it. There's been lots of rumours swelling about a potential takeover, but I don't know if that's just... It's an easy story to write if you're a journalist because it's what West Ham fans want to hear. I don't see it happening. I don't see Sullivan selling, unless he is given a ton of money to make it kind of like too good to turn down.
Which, why would anyone do that?
We don't own our stadium.
Look at the training ground, look at the stadium. It's...
Who was it who said... it was Vladimir Kufal. Obviously, he's at Hoffenheim now in Germany.
Right.
And he's been talking to British media, and I think it was The Athletic. And he did an interview where he was talking about how he was devastated that West Ham didn't renew his contract. Apparently, Potter basically did a 30-second chat and said, "We're not renewing your contract. See you later." Quite disrespectful to a guy who's really given his all for the club for 5 years. You think he would, worthy of an explanation and a bit of a deeper conversation about it. So anyway, he's off for half an hour. He's doing quite well over there. And somebody asked him about the comparison with training setups, because I think Hoffenheim have got a decent training ground over there. And sort of Soufal, you could tell he was trying to be a bit cagey with his words. He didn't want to just openly criticise West Ham, but he basically said there's no comparison. He said it's night and day to what it is. So yeah, there is a lot to fix at West Ham. Sullivan is not the man who's going to do it. So one way or the other, he's got to get out of the club. I just don't know when or how it's going to happen, which is a really fucking depressing thing to think about, to be honest. So yeah, there we go. I wasn't planning on talking about Liverpool a huge amount. I guess we could.
Salah being dropped.
Salah being dropped is a big thing. Hilariously, it was a couple of years ago that Klopp did that to Salah at West Ham.
Oh, was it?
And there was a big story about it because Salah basically gave an interview afterwards and sort of almost did a Mourinho, if I talk, I'm going to get in trouble type speech. But I think it was, it's the right move. He's been dreadful.
It's been like playing with 10 players, hasn't it? Like, the thing is, he's never been a player that would pitch in for the team defensively or work hard for them, but he always give you goals and assists and stuff. That's dried up recently, so it's like playing with 10 players.
No, there's no justification to having him on the pitch. No. So yeah, I think it's time for the others to step up to the plate a little bit. I still think Gakpo is one of their better players. I think he's quite underrated in that Liverpool setup.
Gakpo, Ekitike, I think you'd do worse than starting both of them.
Yeah, start to look to build your team around those two. Obviously, Isak, I'm sure at some point his quality will start to come back. I
think he's the biggest problem because he costs so much. It's almost like they're forced to try and get him in that team when clearly Ekitike shouldn't have come out of that team for him, 5-6 weeks ago, whenever it was that he came back in the fold. That was the start of their downfall, would you say?
It was close.
I mean, they wasn't great, even though they was picking up points this season. At the start of the season, they weren't great, let's face it. Did
you hear the stat about them? So obviously they won those games early in the season, last minute.
Yeah.
If they hadn't have scored those goals to win those games, they'd be in the bottom 3.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Before the weekend when they played West Ham.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right. Okay. Let us move on. We are now going to talk about what was the next game on my list? It was Spurs, Fulham. Oh, now I can cheer myself up again. Talked about West Ham now I can put a smile on my face. I mean,
good old Spurs.
Their home form continues to be dreadful.
Oh, that's terrible.
I genuinely, I'm not a Spurs fan. Obviously, I'm a rival fan that enjoys their downfall in the same way that I'm sure Spurs fans enjoy West Ham's plight at the moment. But I have to say that first 10 minutes was absolutely shambolic against Fulham. Fulham could have been 4-0 up if it wasn't for Van de Ven. I'll tell you what is Van de Ven doing in that Tottenham team now? He needs to get out of that club.
Yeah.
I know Spurs fans are going to fucking vilify me for saying that, but at the moment, the way things are going with Spurs, he is too good for that team.
He won't be there long. If it carries on the way it's going, there's no way that someone's not going to come in for him and he's not going to say, right, I want to go.
Yeah, he was a one-man wall. Yeah. Obviously, I know they dropped, Romero was banned, wasn't he? He was suspended. Danso, I thought, was meh.
Romero's a fucking liability as well.
Romero, I mean,
he'll have the odd really good game, but then he's just throws games in where he looks like a Sunday League player. Some of the decisions he makes, you think, fuck hell.
Well, speaking of bad decisions, should we talk about Vicario?
Well, yeah, he's had a mare, hasn't he?
Jesus Christ. I mean,
you just put that into Rosette,
I was going to say, he had several options available to him, and he chose the wrong one.
He kept the ball at his feet and was holding the player off.
He's like, I'll protect the ball. We'll keep it.
Where are you going to go with it, mate?
We'll keep it. I mean, just as I say, put it in Rosette, or, I don't know. I think that is probably the option, isn't it?
You could do 99 other things than what you actually did.
Yeah.
It was, the worst case scenario.
I think what really frustrated me, and I'm sure it did Thomas Frank as well, was not only did Vicario not in any way bust a gut to try and get back in the goal, no defenders dropped.
Not just that, did you see him throw his hands up when the goal went in, blaming everyone else?
Fucking hell, lads! So hang on a minute, you've just passed it to them down the line. I mean, it's an audacious goal from Hayward, so maybe he's caught him napping there.
It was a great finish. And he meant every bit of it, because he looked 100%. Up before he got the ball. He already looked at the goal.
Yeah, and he was demanding that ball from whoever it fell to. So he already had a picture in his mind. He's like, give me that ball and I'm scoring.
Yeah.
I think they then hit the post not long after that.
Was it before that or was it after that?
It might have been before. I don't know, but they had another good one.
What's his face who used to play for Arsenal?
Iwobi.
Iwobi. Yeah, I'm sure it was him.
But yeah, I mean, even the first goal I thought was, from a Spurs point of view, was really poor. I mean, like he gets in down I don't know who it was who got in down the left. It might have been that Kevin guy who had, actually, I think he had quite a good game for Fulham. Whoever it was got in down the left, poor defending, too easily to get in behind. And then when
everyone just sort of watched it go past.
Yeah, and then everyone sort of like stands there, and it comes to Kenny, is it Kenny Tete?
Yeah.
And Destiny Udogie makes no attempt to come out and close that ball down. At that point, you've got to put your body on the line and just throw yourself at it.
Yeah.
And he just kind of doesn't. And in the end, obviously, it is a little bit fortunate that's taking that big deflection.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to, get close, you're rolling the dice because you're giving him a bigger target to shoot at.
Yeah.
And at that distance, the keeper's got absolutely no chance. So, yeah, really, really poor. The Spurs fans spent the next little while booing Vicario left, right, centre. What do you make of that?
That's not good. That's not good. That doesn't instill any confidence, does it? When you're down on your luck and you're not playing well, you don't need your fans booing you.
Yeah, not singling out a player.
No,
it's all very well booing at half time. Exactly.
Don't boo an individual player.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
I'm surprised Frank come out and said what he said.
Yeah, me too.
But at the same time, I don't really blame him. Like, you've probably lost the fans already anyway. Try and keep your players on side, sort of thing.
It was quite interesting at half time as well. They did that sort of, I don't know if you saw it, where they walked off the pitch. They sort of delayed their walk off the pitch. They all stood next to each other on the pitch. Just a few of them were having conversations. And then they all walked off as one.
Right.
It was almost like a real sign of unity to the Spurs fans who were obviously booing them left, right and centre. But yeah, I mean, individually performances, I thought Richarlison was abject at best. I thought he was so poor. I thought up until the goal, I thought Kudus was poor. His end product, he went back to what I've been saying about Kudus from day one, is that, when he's on his mind, when he's on his game, he'll be great. But his end product, do
you think Leno should do better for that goal? He's hit it hard.
Yes, I think so. I suppose the thing that works in Kudus' favour is because he's hit it high, it takes longer for Leno to get his hands up. And I think it's just like a hand-eye coordination. He's probably just taking his eye off the ball as it's going past him. It's a decent
I'm not even
goal.
sure he meant it.
I
don't know if he's trying to whip it across the goal
I'm
or
not
what.
sure. I think he just swung a leg at it and hoped for the best, to be honest. But up until that point, I thought Kudus was actually quite poor in this game. I'm not convinced by their fullbacks, Pedro Porro, I think, and Udogie. I think Udogie's been okay at times this season. He's been one of their better players, I think, this year. But in this game in particular, I think he was poor. Pedro Porro, decent going forward, but defensively very suspect. So I think Spurs have got a lot of problems, but still think their biggest problem comes back to the fact that they've not replaced Harry Kane and Son as well.
They're so lacking up front, it's unreal. Like, Solanke's forever injured.
Yeah, I think they need to get rid of him.
Yeah, to be honest. The problem is, how do they get rid of him? Who's going to want that?
You have to take a cut price. Someone will take a roll a dice if he's available for
Charleston's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got obviously long-term absentees. Like Kulusevski's a big player for them. James Maddison's a very creative outlet for them. So I take that point on board. But if you don't have anyone in the box who's going to put the ball in the back of the net, Kolo Muani, I will say to his credit,
looked more lively recently.
He's looked better recently. He was good against PSG. He was lively in this one. I thought that the back heel that he tried, I thought was ridiculous. Just turn and fucking hit it. Don't complicate it.
I feel like the PSG game he had like a point to prove because it's his parent club.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was allowed to play.
I know, it's different rules, isn't it, in Europe?
Yeah. So yeah, he done well in there. Matthias Tell, I think, doesn't look at it for me at all.
Pathetic.
So Spurs have got a lot of problems. And I said in the prediction video that I did, with Dan last Friday, or I recorded it last Monday and went out on Friday, that despite the fact that Spurs' league position is fairly secure, obviously they're dropping down the league a bit now, this game had an aura for Thomas Frank's benefit of a must-win. Fulham obviously not had a good season particularly. No. Spurs have been awful at home. This to me felt like a game that Spurs needed to go out and win well to get the fans back on side a little bit, to get them back on board with Thomas Frank. And I think if anything, this has made the situation considerably worse because of the nature of that first two goals in that performance.
That first 6 minutes at home, you can't go 2-0 down to Fulham.
No. And not unless, if they're two absolute worldies, then fair enough. But because they were largely of their own, especially the second one, It's criminal. You can't do that in the Premier League, where any team will punish you, doesn't matter who they are.
And you can't expect after that the fans not to get on your back. Yeah. Granted, they shouldn't be getting on a single player's back, but they're gonna, especially when you've been that poor at home. They pay all that money for their season tickets to watch that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't expect anything else from them.
I mean, as a club, they make a big song and dance about the investment in the stadium, the training facilities, all these extra events they have. They've got all these links with, they've got the Formula One branded go-kart track underneath the stadium and all this kind of stuff.
The NFL stuff.
The NFL, they've got concerts there, they have boxing there. It's like everything seems to be going really well, except the football.
Yeah.
That is being, I don't know if it's being neglected or not, but somebody brought up a very good point on, I think it was on TalkSport actually, so it's a rare that they do bring up good points. So when was Spurs' last marquee signing, would you say? You think when they signed someone and everyone else kind of stood up and went, fuck me, that's a hell of a signing, that's a hell of a coup.
Well, I suppose Solanke in a way, because he had such a good season. Did you say that? Because they spent quite a lot of money on him.
They did spend a lot of money, but I wouldn't say he was marquee.
No. For them it was.
Yeah. I'm thinking like big name, trying to think of an example. Obviously, Isak is the crazy example because of the amount of money involved. But I suppose Kudus, you could say, he had a couple of good seasons at West Ham. It's marquee because he's coming from West Ham, I guess. But I don't know if that's considered marquee. But more often than not, Spurs don't go out and buy big names. No. They either create them from their academy, which they seem to have stopped doing recently. Yeah. I can't think of their last academy product that's kind of come through and getting involved.
Is Bergvall from there?
Bergvall might be, that's a good point. But the rest of them, they seem to either be buying players or unknown players that maybe they can resell. Are they trying to become like a Dortmund almost? Are they trying to become buy low and sell high? Because none of the players they're buying, I mean, Xavi Simons, you could maybe argue is the biggest marquee signing they've had, and he's been dog shit.
He's terrible. He's so weak.
He's so weak. His output is awful. So I just don't know. I don't know a little bit like West Ham. I don't actually know what the fix is with Spurs.
No.
Because the reason that everyone loves to take the mick out of them is because they are stuck in this perpetual, I don't know how you describe perpetual disappointment. Right? They build you up and they finally get a team that looks like they're clicking and then it drops away again.
You'd think after winning the Europa League last season, I know their Premier League form was terrible and they finished, 17th was it? So they were the next worst team to not go down. You'd think that would inspire something in them and they would kick on a bit, because although they've got nothing up top, they're not a terrible team.
No. I mean, I still stand by the fact that I don't think Thomas Frank is the right man for the job, because the squad is not made up of players that suit Thomas Frank.
No.
They've got a group of players who, attacking-wise, are considerably better than what they're showing right now. I take my West Ham hat off for a second. They have got good attacking players when they're on their game. I just don't think Thomas Frank is the manager to get that out of them. So when they got rid of Ange, who was a very attacking, very forward-thinking manager, I know they were shit in the league and all that, and it all went very sour. But to then switch to a more pragmatic manager in Thomas Frank, I'm not sure was a good idea for Spurs. The Spurs fans are still chomping on and chiming on about Pochettino. Can we get him back? I think a lot of them are thinking that maybe if USA stink the place up in the World Cup next year, that maybe he gets a sack and then maybe they can bring him back.
It's not been going well for him anyway, has it?
No, not particularly. I think they're only
even with Pulisic in the team.
Yeah, and I think LeBron James of soccer. I think I could be wrong in this, but I think the only reason they're in the World Cup is because they're hosting it.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think they did any good in their qualification games and stuff like that. So
the video that we saw a couple of weeks ago on a group about they wanted Son to play.
Oh yeah.
Oh mate.
Well, maybe if they can somehow find a parent and wind the clocks back, maybe they can get him in. I don't know what the answer is with Spurs. I honestly think Thomas Frank's days are numbered, and I don't think necessarily it's because he's a bad manager. I just think that the general vibe at Spurs is so negative. I think the fans are going to hound him out before too long.
I just don't think he's the right fit for Spurs. No. I think he would have been better off staying where he was, to be honest with you. He had it good at Brentford.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Obviously, I know in football there's many ways to skin a cat. It's not all about all-out attacking football. I get it. But when you've got a team that's made up of players for a previous regime that was built around attacking, free-flowing football, you can't just flick a switch and turn it into a defensive make-up team, especially when your defenders are not that great.
Going back to the last game, Jimenez's handball.
I've forgotten about that.
I cracked up when I saw that.
Honestly, I think somebody needs to clip it and put like a meme of like a jet plane going past as he's jumping through the air like that.
Would he have got sent off if he had scored that, do you reckon? If he'd handballed that into the goal?
No, because I think it still counts as a deliberate handball, so it'd still be a yellow.
Right, okay.
It would have been very interesting to see if the referee had done it if he was on a second, if he was already booked. It was honestly wild decision. Like, why would you? You're not getting anywhere near
close to being anywhere near his head. Yeah.
I mean, part of me would have actually quite liked. I mean, football's obviously very serious now. We always have to stick by the rules and all that. But part of me would have liked if everyone had just laughed about it. If the referee had just laughed and given him a bit of a handshake as he gone past, everyone just kind of like gets on with their lives. I think that would have been quite nice to see. But obviously they're a stickler for the rules, aren't they? So actually, just before we move on, actually, I did realise I got a couple of little stats here about Spurs and about their home stadium. This is the earliest. Excuse me. This is the earliest that Tottenham have ever conceded 2 goals in a home game. They've conceded 11 first half goals in 13 games. Only Wolves have conceded more this year. 4 goals in the first 15 minutes of the first half. Only Sunderland have conceded more. Failed to win any of their last 20 matches when conceding first. Their last victory when they come from behind was against Aston Villa in November last year. Across the 3 halves of Premier League football until half time on Saturday. So obviously this is the Arsenal game, the Fulham game, and whoever else they played. Arsenal and Fulham, the 3 halves. So the full game against Arsenal and the first half against Fulham, combined XG 0.09 in 3 halves of football.
That's not good, is it?
And of course, their home form. I mean, it's their 10th home defeat of 2025 in the Premier League, which is now the joint most home league defeats in a single calendar year in their history. Just 14 points on home soil across the last 12 months. It's the lowest of any ever-present Premier League team. 6 behind the second lowest. Stamp.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 3 league teams they've beaten in that time, Southampton were relegated with 12 points. Manchester United finished 15th, and Burnley, which is their only home win this season, are currently second bottom. I mean, the stat, I can just carry on reading here. I mean, Tottenham have faced 37 more shots and 27, have faced 37 more shots and 27 more shots on target than they've attempted across those 12 months. So they're actually negative in terms of shots on goal and against goal. And they've conceded have lost 4 consecutive home London derbies for the first time in the Premier League, twice against Chelsea and then Palace and Fulham. So the stats are...
Gotta love Spurs.
I mean, they are a podcast wet dream, aren't they? Let's be honest. Right, anyway, let's move on now. Let's move back on to Manchester City against Leeds. And I'm not going to dawdle on these last 2 games because I know we've covered the first couple of games in fairly heavy detail. But I do want to talk about Man City and what is Man City now? What are they?
I don't know.
I cannot work them out.
They've got a robot up top and then they're fragile at the back.
I mean, I'd say they're fragile everywhere. Yeah. I mean, they've got some incredibly talented players in that team. Have other teams just worked them out? Is it as simple as that?
Just very soft, aren't they? They've lost that sort of aura around them where you'd be scared of them. You know, you can get at them now and score goals.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's particularly scared of them anymore.
I mean, Matthias Nunes, I don't know what he was doing for his goal. I mean, he might as well have put it in the net himself.
Yeah. Why would you take a touch inside?
It's
It's like we'd have a go at our 6-year-olds on a Saturday morning for doing that.
It was a woeful piece of defending for somebody who's actually been all right at right back. He's converted into a right back, really, isn't he? But he's been doing okay.
Was it him that threw the challenge in as well for the
penalty?
The penalty.
Was it him?
I'm not sure if it was, but that was another shocking decision. Why would you launch yourself through the air like that?
Yeah,
didn't need to.
I don't really understand it at all. There was another decision this weekend. I can't remember which game it was in. That's going to annoy me. There was a game at the weekend where somebody threw themselves into a challenge, got absolutely nowhere near the ball, and VAR took 30 seconds to approve the penalty. I'm gonna have to, after the podcast, I'll have to show you, but it was absolutely hysterical how obvious this was a penalty. I mean, he literally, because of how wet the ground was, he hit the deck and just carried on sliding.
Yeah.
Went straight through the player. The ball is just in front of them, nowhere near them, and the VAR still took 30 seconds to confirm the penalty. So anyway, as far as Man City, I just don't know. They've lost that killer instinct. They've lost the ability to scare teams. They don't have the ability to control games in the way that they used to either.
They used to just pass teams to death.
Yeah, like Rodri obviously was so good at that. Yeah. They had De Bruyne in the teams who could hurt you. there's quality in there. I mean, Foden, fantastic player. Bernardo Silva, maybe he's coming towards the end of the peak of his powers. Have they just got too many hot and cold players in there? Doku, very hot and cold.
Yeah, Doku's like
Cherky, not really done it.
top of the list, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
he can give you a game where he get you 4 or 5 assists, and he's running at everyone and being brilliant. And then other games, you think, how the fuck are you in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you got Cherky, not really got to grips with the Premier League
I'm
yet.
surprised they bought him. He's not really a Pep player, I'd say.
Was he a free?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure they paid for him.
They pay for him. I can't remember. Then you've got so Bernardo Silva obviously coming to the end of his powers a little bit. You say. I think Savinho is really poor.
Yeah,
personally,
he started like a house on fire, didn't he? The first few games he played, he thought, "Cool, they got a player here."
He really looked like a proper replacement for Mahrez.
Yeah.
He almost looked like for like. He's not doing it at all. I think Oscar Bob is a fantastic talent. I think he could be really good. Phil Foden is beginning to find a bit of form again.
I don't know. The last couple of seasons, he seems to do this, doesn't he? You'll have some good games, and you think, "Oh, right, that's the Foden we all know and think is going to be there," and then goes off the boil again.
Yeah. So I don't think they've got the players in that team. You know, you think of those players when they were at the peak of their powers, like your Gundogan's, Bernardo Silva when he was really at it, De Bruyne, Sterling. I think, you know, as much as we sort of malign him now, with where his career has gone, when he was playing at City, he was a fantastic player for City. He didn't always make the.
He needed 100 attempts to score a goal, but
he was right place,
he was
right
there
time,
all the time,
always
taking players on, making things happen.
He was a sort of better version of Doku. Really, was a more consistent version. And I just don't think they've got the defense, which is arguably their strongest area. You look at the players they've got: Gvardiol, Diaz, former player of the year in Diaz, John Stones. I know he's been a bit injured. Nathan Ake. These are really good players. Nico O'Reilly's been brilliant there. I don't understand how they can continue to ship goals in the way that in the type of goals that they concede.
Donnarumma gets a bit flappy as well, doesn't he?
He does a little bit. Yeah, he can make fantastic saves, but when it comes to sort of commanding your box,
he's not great.
He's not great at it. So where do Man City sit in the pecking order of the Premier League right now?
I honestly don't know. I just don't feel like you can ever discount Man City. But you look at them, you think, so beatable now. Like, I'm not worried about playing you at all anymore.
No, I mean, if Leeds can go there, I mean, Man City were woeful in that second half. They were absolutely dreadful. And fair play to Leeds; they very much deserve to get back on level terms.
100%.
And credit to Daniel Farke because he's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the changes he made at half time, bringing Calvert-Lewin on, made a change, didn't he?
He did. He did a really good job with that, and I think that they were really unfortunate in the end to not get a point out of the game because I think they did deserve it. But
they did, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know what the story is with City. Pep Guardiola, you know, full of excuses as he always is. He'll always find something to be the reason that they're not performing, or he'll deflect in some way, shape, or form. He's very good at that.
Wonder where Arteta gets it from.
Well, Arteta doesn't have to worry about it too much at the moment because by and large they've been very successful this season.
Mind you, he blamed having 1 day's less rest
for the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Why can't managers come out and say, do you know what, Chelsea were good today?
Yeah.
Is that so hard? Is that such a bad thing to say?
Can't do it, can they?
So yeah, is there a real danger, do you think? Now, Guardiola is not going to be there forever. I'm kind of surprised he signed the extension to his contract that he did.
I was shocked when because the talk was that was going to be his last season. And then when it came out that he'd signed that contract, we're like, blimey, did not see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, he must be burnt out.
Yeah.
Because he's such an intense manager. You know, you think, look at what he did to Jurgen Klopp towards the end. He was done. Like, he needed a break. Guardiola has to be at that point.
Yeah.
And I just wonder.
I thought he would have wanted to go out, sort of
take a break,
more of a peak.
Yeah,
because he's still. I wouldn't say they're on the decline, but they've definitely plateaued.
Yes, I'd agree with that. They're not the front runners in the Premier League anymore. They're in danger, I think, of being caught and passed, if they haven't already, by Chelsea. Liverpool obviously have been poor this year, but the last couple of years they've been better than City.
Yeah.
Do clubs like Villa and Newcastle, do they smell a bit of blood here? Can they?
I mean, where did Villa come from, by the way?
Yeah,
didn't score for like the first 5 games.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I knew they were poor at the start. I forgot they didn't even score. Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Newcastle involved in that as a fan or whatever, and Villa, I'm smelling blood.
Yeah.
I'm smelling an opportunity to replace Man City in that top 4 consistently. Because I'm not seeing anything from Man City that says they're going to be consistently in that top 4 now. I think they're
you take
vulnerable.
Haaland out of that team and the goals he scored this season, really. I know ifs and buts, but you take him out of that team, they're terrible.
Well, I mean, the stats back that up. I mean, up until this weekend when Foden got his brace, the second top goal scorer for Man City this year was the Burnley centre-half who scored 2 own goals. Esteve, whatever his name is. Yeah. I think they did have 1 or 2 other that were joint with him, but the fact that he was even there that far into a season is wild for a team like Man City. The over-reliance they have on Haaland is crazy. Even though they scored 3 goals this weekend and he wasn't one of them, that's rare.
That's my fault for triple captain.
Yeah, I can say, yeah. I did captain him.
You're
as well.
welcome.
So you got a big 6 out, I only got 4. So, yeah, I think Man City are an enigma. I can't work them out.
No,
I cannot work them out at all. When we do our predictions and whatnot, and I guess when you and Dan are doing your Super 6 and whatnot, how the fuck do you gauge a Man City team? Because they could turn up and batter you 4-0, 5-0 easily, but they could easily also, on the other side of that, turn up and be shit and maybe scrape a 1-0 or even lose the match.
Yeah.
I just don't get them. I really don't. So, yeah, I felt for Leeds in this one. This would have been a massive point for them in their relegation fight. They've been on a bit of a downward spiral. They've not been picking up too many points. So this would have been a huge, not just the point, but the confidence lift they've got from that 2-0 down away at City to come back and draw 2-2 would have been huge for them. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
They'd have had a really happy Farker, but they had a disappointed Farker in the end.
I love Daniel Farker. I just love his interviews.
It's his voice cracks me out every time.
It just seems like a video game character. Like, he doesn't seem real. Right, okay, on to the final game we're going to talk about this evening. This is the game between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United off the back of the wonderful performance against Everton on Monday that
brilliant.
We watched, me and Dan. Dan,
honestly, I joined at the start and then I had to leave because I had to do bits with the kids and that. I come back on and they were 1-0 down. I was like, there's no way you're 1-0 down to 10 men.
Honestly, I don't know what it is. We are just a curse when it comes to live streams, because every time I've done a live stream, I guess you could include you because you were the Chelsea fan in there, but obviously West Ham fan, battered by Chelsea. We were shit against Brentford. When we've done England games in the past, the games have normally been crap, 0-0s.
What do you expect?
Well, yeah, okay, that's probably on us. Yeah, okay, I'll take that one. And then obviously Man United against Everton, we've got the United fan on, and they were so poor against Everton. It was woeful.
They weren't much better against Palace.
This is the thing. It was quite a poor game overall. Anyway, the one thing I did want to say, actually, let me just find the picture that someone sent me, which was just talking about the narrative that kind of surrounds United. And this is something that it's a shame that Dan isn't here to answer this, but obviously there's always this extra narrative pressure around Man United. There's always this kind of extra story that it's kind of funny to shit on them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, here it is. So the Manchester United's record since September 20th: 1 lost, 1-1-1, drawn, lost 1. They've only lost 2 in the last 10, with 2 draws and 6 wins. Are we unfair on United a little bit when they do lose? Are we too quick to jump on them?
I think because they've been so bad for so long, it's sort of, you have blinkers on, because they haven't lost that many, but they haven't been good, have they?
There's been a few games where they look like they've turned up and they've done well, but by and large, I do think their performances have been not where they should be. And they've made hard work of the wins as well. I mean, even I think when they played at home against, was it Brentford? No, not Brentford. Burnley. It was Burnley. I think they played home against Burnley. I think they won the game.
Penalty.
Was it 3-2 they won in the end?
Was it a penalty? They got a really late goal, didn't they?
And actually, when you look at the game and analyse the game, they actually played okay. But because they made such hard work of it, because they made so many mistakes defensively, that might have been still when they had like Onana and Bayern Deering goals. I'm pretty sure he gave them a goal or two, as he used to do. It always feels like they've got away with one, when actually, if you look at the performance underneath, it wasn't actually that bad. So that being said, there are times where, and you've obviously criticised Maresca for this, with decisions and tactical and substitutions and stuff. When you look at like last Monday, for example, why is Amorim taking as long as he did to make those decisions?
There's no need for him to have 3
at the back
against 10 men.
Yeah.
Why?
You could see it from straight away. They switched the team around. They had one up front, and he was obviously dropping very deep because United had a lot of the ball. Why at that point would you not throw caution to the wind?
Two at the back. Well, not two at the back, but two centre backs, and get another body up front.
Yeah,
I
do. I mean, I don't want to say it's a shame that Dan's not here to defend himself, because I look at that squad, and I did say to him this on the live show. I look at that squad and I don't see anywhere near as much depth as I thought they had. Sounds weird because it feels like they've made some better signings recently, but then when you look at Monday, and I think they were only missing Sesko and Cunha, I think, were the two big ones that were missing. There might be, I think Harry Maguire's missing as well still, but defensively they've got their normal back four anyway, or back three.
Look at their bench; it's not inspiring, is it?
Yeah, it's really not. And you know, and I don't say for one moment that they shouldn't have got rid of players like Garnacho and Sancho and Rashford, because they had to go. They had to go, but they haven't replaced them. And they've replaced them, you know, with, I mean, Burmo's been a success. I think we have to say overall he was poor against Everton, but overall he's been a good player and a good buy for them. Cunha has been good. He's just not had the goals and the assists to go with it. He needs he needs to start doing that to justify his move. It's all very well, you know, being the hard worker and doing good work in the build up, but he needs to improve his output.
Yeah, his end product needs to be better.
Jury is out on Sesko. Ironically, that Everton game was perfectly suited for him. He wasn't there for it. Xerxes took his goal well. I mean, it was a good strike at the weekend, but
keeper should do better.
I think the keeper should do it better. And up until that point, even the commentator said he'd done absolutely nothing up until that point. So I think United are still a long way away from where they want to be.
Yeah.
The outside in, is Amorim still the right man, do you think, to be in charge of this rebuild that's still going on here?
I think the worst thing that could happen with United at the moment is them finishing a good league position, because it's sort of covering over what is not a very good side.
You think the extra games would kill them?
No, I just think if they finish sort of top six, is the board and that going to go, well, there's improvement there. We don't really need to spend any more money or anything like that. I don't think it's a good thing for them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think that Jim Radcliffe, who does appear to be, I mean, you know, take away all those other decisions where he's, you know, taking benefits away and firing staff and all that. He has experience in football. You'd like to think that they are aware of the limitations of that squad. But let's say, for argument's sake, they did look at that and think, actually, maybe we don't need to sign as many players. Maybe we only sign 2 instead of 4 or whatever. I think if they did end up with Europe next year, I think that kills them.
Yeah, well, you think they're playing once a week at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're just about scraping by. And I don't think that's unfair.
No, I don't think so. I think it's been so hit and miss. I mean, despite that form there, if they had beaten Everton, I think they would have gone 4th. The conversation would undoubtedly be different at that point. We'd probably be saying, okay, they've not been great. They're getting results. They're doing what they need to do. Carry on with the rebuild. It's obviously working to a point, with a lot of work to do still, granted. The problem is with United is because they are such an easy target for media, because everyone loves to kind of shit on them in the same way that we do with Spurs. As soon as they lose, they don't lose games when they're playing. Okay, here's the thing. They don't lose when they play well. When they lose, they're fucking terrible. And I think that's what hurts them, especially in the media. And when they win, I mean, when was the last time, again, it's a shame Dan's not here, but when was the last time the Man United won a game and dominated?
Yeah, it was convincing.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I can't remember a game where they won out and dominated a game and were like properly good value for it. Maybe there has been 1 or 2 this year, but I can't honestly remember. It just feels like the every time they lose, it's a really poor performance. And they've had many of those this year already. You know, the Grimsby game, this Everton one. List, I think actually they were fortunate this weekend that Mateta didn't have his shooting boots on, because they could have been 3-0 up.
Well, really, Palace should have put them away in the first half, shouldn't they?
Can we talk about Eddie Nketiah going for a nice little stroll?
What's his style about? Either use your left foot and have a shot earlier, or play it across the goal to. I don't even know who it was that was running in.
No, I'm not sure who it was.
They literally had an open goal.
When I was watching it back, the way he was running, it was almost like he'd looked across at the liner and saw the flag was up, so he was just kind of casually jogging. Then I was like, no, he's onside.
Do you know what he reminded me of? You know, when you're watching the kids on a Saturday and they get the ball and they're like, checking over their shoulder because they think someone's coming up behind them. It was like that.
Yeah.
Like
He was
almost
so
like
worried.
time stopped.
Yeah, he was so worried about the pressure from behind. He
Yeah.
just forgot that he should be driving forward and scoring or getting a shot away.
Terrible.
Yeah, look, it's not all negative about United. Look, they got a goalkeeper in who seems to have shored that position up and taken the conversation away from that.
There's definitely positives with United in the sense that obviously the goalkeeper situation.
Yeah,
As much as I hate to say it, Mason Mount seems to be
he's getting better. Isn't he?
better.
Yeah. I still need to. I think Man United need to also figure out what they want to do with Kobe Mainu.
I mean, I don't think he's even got a future at United.
This is it. I mean, like, he was the prodigal son. He was the chosen one 12 months ago.
Just doesn't fit the team,
It
does
just
he?
doesn't seem to fit this at all. And are United is Ruben Amorim not putting enough effort into trying to find a way to make it work with him? Because there's talent there.
Amorim's just too rigid. You need to have a plan B, a plan C. He just doesn't seem to have that.
No, he doesn't want to have one.
No.
I think is more the point.
That will be his downfall. Just not being able to adapt and be willing to change.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think as you say, for the most part, the signings that have coming in have improved them. But I think when you bring in players like Cunha and Burma and Sesko, and you're still not performing to the level that United fans probably want them to be, I think it just highlights just how big the problems were at United to begin with, and how much work still there is to do to fix them completely.
But you think if you go back 10, 12 years, this sort of shows how far United have fallen.
Oh yeah,
Because they wouldn't be celebrating bringing in Mbeumo, Cunha,
yeah,
and what's his name, Lamens or whatever,
Yeah.
the goalkeeper. Because they're not like marquee signings, are
12
they?
years ago, they would have gone and got Donnarumma.
Yeah.
100%.
They would have gone and, brought in a couple of like...
Marquee signings,
Yeah,
as we were saying earlier with
basically,
Spurs, yeah.
So,
I think there's light at the end of the tunnel for Spurs. Sorry, for United, but I still think it's a way away.
yeah.
But I think at least there's a little bit of hope there for United. I think. For me, looking from the outside in, I just don't know if Amorim is the one to take them all the way to the end of that tunnel. I think maybe he can get them part of the way there. He can
Sort of steady the ship.
steady the
sort of thing,
ship, bring a bit of positive vibes. He's a very likable character, very honest.
Too
Is
honest
he
at times.
too honest at times? Maybe. Is he the right man to get them all the way? I'm not
No.
convinced he is. Right. Okay. Well, that is going to do us. This is obviously a step into the unknown. Everything looks like it's worked okay from an editing point of view. I've now got to step into the unknown in terms of editing this and putting this together for YouTube. It's going to be really easy to do it for the audio podcast. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully it comes out well. We need to do a quick prediction video before you shoot off home.
Yeah.
For this week's game, midweek game, of course. So I need to get
Day if this goes out.
yeah, shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit. Fuck, I'm gonna have to edit that one tomorrow as well. Might have to call in sick to work tomorrow. I've got a lot of work on, I think. Thanks everyone for listening. Let us know what you think about the new format. Obviously, you can see this is the end of November. This is the last day. This is coming off this evening. Not bad for a month.
No,
not bad at all. We have raised.
That'd take me a good year to grow that.
I did say to Anna, I was like, I'm thinking of keeping it, and she went, "No, you're fucking not." So it does wind her up, which, in my opinion, is a reason to keep it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might cause me more hassle. So this is going to come off. I beat my goal in the end. I got to just over 300 quid, which is great. The team that I was doing it with, we've hit just on $2,000. Those guys have got a lot more bigger companies they work for and friends. Yes, be my friend. So yeah, overall really, really good. Hopefully this new format is one that you like. We are looking to try and keep these podcasts to nearer an hour going forward. Obviously when Shearer's here and Dan's here, maybe it will squeeze on a bit, but
it depends if they're winning or not.
Yeah.
If they lose, then don't worry, it'll still be under an hour.
Because they won't be here.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next week. Dan is actually away this week in Madrid on a lads thingy, so we'll be able to hear all about his
stories from there.
Atletico Madrid game that he went to see, the Real Madrid Stadium tour. So we'll get a little bit of stories from that, which will be good. Hopefully this will be the start of the standard kind of episode and sort of content you can expect from the channel now. Hopefully I'll do some clips and bits and pieces. So fingers crossed.
Hopefully you'll like it.
Exactly. Right. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Let's go and do the prediction video then.
See you later.
See you later.